cross River Niger. He got to the confluence of Niger Benue. Then he jumped to Osun State and found himself there. And then you were eating something. What happened to it? You are still eating, but you left it where you were. You moved to another place. And then you were not in the middle, but you wanted still to move.
I shifted a little bit from
you shifted a little bit to your position. Now, and then you were in the middle. You are not eating. So those of you that were eating, what happened to your food that you left?
It's still there.
It's still there.
Yes.
You didn't bother. In case I ask you to sit where you moved, what would happen? You would transfer it. Okay. What is very interesting about this is, in most often, those of us in the profession of communication, media in particular, we tend to carry the baggage. We carry the baggage, and I'm starting this from my friend. What's your name? Not you. Yes?
Alex.
Alex. Alex was very excited with the data. That's a baggage. That's a baggage. He took the whole process of going somewhere, and that's exactly what we see in the media. That's what we see in when we're communicating. Move to the edge of the table, he crossed the boundary. He went to another place completely different. Now, put that in communication. Are we getting the point? Those of them that left the baggage, the food they were eating, they left it there. You didn't think about it. You didn't take it along with you. What happened if you were not coming back to that place? Now, change the food to something else. Change it to the normal behaviors we want to address, to the messages you're passing through the media. It flows in the same context. His point about data, what triggered my interest was, where am I starting from? And that's why I came in to see whichever data you're using, where you are starting from, what exactly is it you want to see communicate in this context, and then later on change. Femi case will give us a scenario of the most complex and difficult situation, because his report in this context will be totally not within the context of what we're doing, because he has gone into other dimensions. You want a woman to put baby to breast milk, and immediately she gives birth. But look at the lots of stories that we put in for this simple, easy, doable action. Put baby to breast milk. As simple as that. Just put baby to breast milk. Move to the next edge of the table. As simple as that. But the soonest you start adding, the soonest you do not think of other issues like she has done, then you start finding stories to add to it. Isaiah yesterday was laughing at me at the hotel we lodged in. Is it Stone Age or whatever it's called? The old Adria. At the entrance they said, please push the door. When you enter, it says, please pull the door. Then I ask them, why the please? Push, and then you push it. There may be nobody there. Why do you say please? I can't enter if I don't push the door. Simple doable action is pull the door. Pull, push, that's all. But when he said please, maybe he considered there is element of respect. Do I need to respect somebody to push the door? Are we getting it? All I want is to enter. Simple. I want to go out, gentlemen, to open our discussion. When we start discussing these issues, be as analytical as you can, be as free as you want. Ask the most horrendous question that sounds most abnormal, most funny, it doesn't matter. The essence is for us to communicate. Now, one thing that has become very obvious over the years was when the Baby Friendly Initiative was launched in 2005. The idea was Nigeria to catapult, to see that every baby has reached a particular level. Hospitals everywhere in the country, rehabilitation, government investment, the media came in, everybody was talking. Exclusive breastfeeding was the key term. The reason why it was launched at that time was to see that can we raise the status of exclusive breastfeeding from 8% to at least 25%. Is it only about breastfeeding? No. For the woman to put the baby to breast milk, there are a lot of things. The focus of the media at that time was to promote the concept of exclusive breastfeeding. So it became a vogue rather than a communication that had a shared value among all Nigerians. This is where we're headed to, and this is what we want to see happen. And that's why we're having all these programs. So for the media, what data showed us was to fill in the blank spaces of health programs. She needs to attend the ANC. At that time and to present, ANC attendance in Kaduna, in Zaria, is still within 9%. How can she know if only 9% of pregnant women attend the ANC? So it's not really about breastfeeding. It's about maternal health, maternal and child health. I have asked this question. This question is for the men. And for the men who are married, can you raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a volunteer who has ever attended an ANC session, either as a journalist or to escort your wife. 1, 2. I will come back to the 2 of you. You see, the rest didn't. And we want them to write articles on the ANC. We want them to speak on behalf of the women to attend the ANC. You raise your hand later. Give us the story of how you attended ANC.
I didn't sit with her at ANC.
Oh, okay.
I usually take her there in the morning.
Okay.
Whenever she was going.
Yes.
At times I will be there, they will start, then I will sleep away.
Okay. So, like, when they will start, what is it like?
They normally do start with some forms, at times they be clapping, discussing some things, just try to create excitement among the people, and then from there they start giving them necessary information about childbirth and all that.
Okay, then you go. Okay. Did you hear there is something they call weight management? When she got back home, am I talking to women now? When she got back home, did she discuss weight management with you? No.
I can't remember.
No, she didn't. She didn't. That's why you can, don't worry. So thank you very much. Sit down. Now, this is one confrontation. The other person who attended, sir, you attended. Tell us the story about how you attended.
For me, I had to drive her there, one.
What?
drive her to the hospital, the antenatal. Then, secondly, I actually have a question. I wanted to know if I'll be there to be part of taking the delivery.
Okay. Now, he wanted to be part of taking the delivery, which is very nice. But most men, let me tell you scientifically, most men that enter the labor room, one of the three things happened. Some of them became born again, excellent husbands, and I swear to God, Google scientifically, some of them became important. Yeah. The thing is, fail. Couldn't imagine the amount of blood that came out from that woman and got replenished immediately after the baby has come out in the hands of a trained, skilled person. So it's not about putting baby to breast milk exclusively or within 30 minutes. For the media, it's a whole process of maternal health and child health. So what we want when we're talking about this is for you to go beyond the propaganda, to look at exactly why are we investing into all these processes. After the baby-friendly initiative failed, and the reason why it failed is because these issues I'm raising with you, which should be the key agenda in the media, were undertold, were not taken into consideration. Which media station are you coming from? Liberty, one of my friends. Liberty was excellent partner to Alive and Tribe in our phase one. I almost know everybody. How come I didn't know you?
I came back with you.
Oh, okay. Now, let's take a typical health program, because I think tomorrow Azai and I will take you through the discussion. When we have health program, it's good, I understand it, there are plenty. You talk about tobacco, you talk about environment, drug addiction, and other things. Now, when you come back to talk about maternal and child health, I will not raise that discussion here, but I will allow you to bring it up yourself. Explore and examine your own program content. What exactly are the key things that you've been talking about day in, day out, year in, year out? Why are you focusing only on those ones? Is it because of data you don't have? Is it because it's easier to talk about them? Is it easier to just say woman should eat good, nice food? Or are you going deep down into engaging the woman and the family that we're talking about now to understand? Why I like the idea he escorted his wife to ANC is the typical thing we have read in the data. He is the one that has money, she doesn't have transport money. In the case of the 9% I mentioned in Zaria, she needs a permission. So if he's not in town, she won't be allowed to go to ANC. And if the grandmother or the mother-in-law is around, she has to decide. So at the end of the day, there is a compromise of the maternal health versus the decision maker. So, but in cases of those who can afford, he would give her the transport, or he would drive her there and drop her and then come back later and pick her. I'm not excluding myself from the same crime. But at the end of the day, what we see here is that how much do we know about what goes on? Women have what they call the private information. To some extent, they don't open it up to the men. So how can you support her? I mentioned weight management now. MIYCN, maternal nutrition, includes 4 components. These 4 components are very, very strong. and it should be within the front page of the media discussion. One, we normally talk about 1,000 days. Who knows what is the meaning of the 1,000 days? Yes, please.
Yes, I know it to be 1,000 window, 1,000 days window.
Okay.
That is from the day of conception.
Good.
To the age of 2.
Okay. So what happens there?
Yeah, what I know that happens there is like taking care of the nutrition of that child.
Okay.
So to prevent maybe like what do you call this? Stunting,
Okay.
and the rest of them.
Okay.
So that the brain can develop in such a way that later on, when you teach such a child, he or she will take it what you are teaching. Contrary to other people who might have missed that opportunity. So you see them in class, they are sluggish, they are difficult to teach, and rest of them. So I know this will be about.
Please, let's start. I like the point he understands that there is a window period. That window period is the most complex and the most critical. As I was talking to you about one of the publications that I led, we call it the cost of not breastfeeding. Kaduna was one of the locations where we did the study. It was a national study. We tried to pull out how does nutrition affect the national economy? How does it contribute to exactly a lot of things that we see? School performance, in the labor industry, in the social life, and then in the life expectancy and life chances. Life chances and life expectancy is based on the lifestyle. I see a lot of people selling herbal drugs. Everybody rushes to buy them. Men buy aphrodisiac because you want to perform extremely well. They buy, spend a lot of money on that. All he needs is actually an okra. Yes, why all those jumping? The quality of life becomes compromised. Are we following? Alex is excited.
She's interested in that topic.
Yes. So, now, the window period basically is the most fundamental. Let me start from the maternal. From the maternal, what we're saying here is that there are 4 critical phases for the woman. What she eats before she gets pregnant. Before she gets pregnant. Garbage in, garbage out. So, what does the woman give in the child versus what the father gives? What does the father gives? Who knows? To have this child, there are 2 contributions, isn't it? What did the father give? Before mother come. What did the mother give? The egg. The quality of the egg determines the quality of the product. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, so because the sperm processes the egg, it will process whatever egg it finds.
Yes.
Abi? So maternal nutrition starts before she gets pregnant. That's why the national MIYCN strategy went back to the adolescents, to the adolescent girls, to say that don't start when she's already an adult woman. Start her nutrition behavior when she is still an adolescent, because at that developmental stage, you can have and produce a quality egg, if you want to go to that extent, but somebody who can actually be able to produce a quality society. And this has been proven scientifically. Now, the second level is that there is a common trend which we have seen across the country. And that brings us here. In Nigeria, we call it triple burden. Triple burden of malnutrition. Some countries is double burden. Some countries is single burden. The United States of America has single burden. What is the key nutrition burden in the US? Can somebody guess? Overnutrition. Thank you so much. Who said that? Good. Overnutrition, they are huge, big. So obese, they are eating too much. Too much eating.
Too much junks.
Too much junks, too much nama, too much flour, too much sugar. And we think it is that sugar that we're stopping ourselves here from taking the sugar. Are we getting it? But in Nigeria, we have triple burden. There is the malnutrition, there is the undernutrition, there is the overnutrition, but there is the most critical one, micronutrient deficiency. Who guess what is the key macronutrients are we talking about here?
That is the protein.
Protein?
Protein, the vitamins.
Vitamins?
Minerals.
Minerals? Pardon? Pardon?
Fat and oil.
Fat and oil. So you see, Sarah, you call media people, you want them to report. One of the key challenges of the media, and which I would like to encourage you, is to increase the capacity building interaction opportunities for media to be well and better informed in understanding what am I writing about. Let's take the micronutrients. Women now that have been in ANC, raise your hand before. Who has attended ANC? You never go, don't you raise your hand. Those who have attended ANC, I can tell. Those who have attended ANC, please. Good. Tell us which drug they gave you at the clinic. Folic acid. What is it? No, what is folic acid?
It's a tablet.
That is being given.
Yes, every visitation.
Every visitation. So let's have a scenario of ANC. You go there, they sing, you dance, you finish dancing, you sit down, you start again, and then those that are 2 months, and then 3 months, and then finally, then when you are going home, they give each one of you some tablets. So what did they tell you about it?
They advise us to take it as been prescribed.
Advise you to take it as been described. Thank you so much, Hajia. That is the problem. That is the problem. When she gets home, the grandmother is at home. What is this? They ask us to do this. So they take it. What does it do? And she said I should be taking it every day. The media has a responsibility to improve knowledge and create knowledge where it is not there, isn't it? This is number one. The providers normally behave like experts. You don't ask them questions. They think they know it all. So they just give it to you because they think you have to take it. They are experts. Hardly from the data we have, woman comes back home and says, that provider, that midwife told me that iron and folic acid contains iron. What again? Zinc. What again? You see? So women have reasons not to take it. First, the first sign is that, what is the first sign of it after you take it? Nausea. Some people?
Some women have this nausea,
some don't have.
And some know the challenge that they don't take it as being prescribed.
Why?
I don't know, some people have.
No, the reason why they don't is because they don't know why they should be taking it. Are we communicating?
Yes.
I don't know why you ask me to be taking it, so I swallow today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. It's not like when I swallow it, suddenly I will look light skin and big, and no. Some things that happen in the body, I might not notice it. So you get tired, and it becomes routine. Some stool will change to dark. and then. So what we're saying here is that the key context of communication gap, the gap that exists, is a responsibility that comes from the media. So based on that, the national government developed what we call the National Communication Strategy. Who communicates to who and says what, when, how, and where. Essentially, to address these key elements. The cases we have of undernutrition are people that don't have it at all. They don't have adequate nutrition. Those that have micronutrient deficiency is they have the food, but it is empty. You will get the same iron and folic acid in ugu, in eferrero, in miakuka. It's all inside. But look at the entire process of cooking it. That's why I said when you are discussing health program in radio or in TV, how do you make the discussion to reflect the quality of the nutrients that is inside, beyond showing I'm an expert, I know how to cook, add Maggi, add this, add this, add this, add this. Are we seeing it now? Because our concern here is not just for the food to taste fine, but for the food to actually have this content. I facilitated a workshop like this with the media people and others. It was a longer workshop, much longer. To be precise, it was 12 days. What we did is on arrival, we divided them into groups. So each group of about 8 people, and we had 6 groups. We gave them money, actual money, each group, exact amount of money. Then we said, during the course of this workshop, you people will define something to cook. You will cook food. But we want that food to have an objective. Why are you cooking it? You must have a goal. Why do you want to see happen when I eat that food? And then you will also describe the process, how you manage to get that. Now, each one of you will go to your group, decide what to cook. You all have given the money. Come and tell us what utensils you need. We'll make provision for it for you. You have days to do that. But the first Saturday will be the day we'll have picnic, and all of us will eat the food you would have cooked. So Friday will be like no workshop. You'll be busy finalizing your food. But every day at 4 p.m., you'll be allowed to go to ShopRite, to market, to do whatever shopping you're doing. Quite exciting, isn't it? Exactly the same kind of workshop like this. So everybody was given the money, all the groups. Remember we said the goal, the theme, the objective of what you want. Some even went further to say they have a vision where they want to see. The same exercise I started with you. How people. Some groups spend the whole day one arguing what they will cook, because one wanted meat pie and shawarma, some wanted something else. Everybody had one idea of what they want to cook or the other. In any case, they had the money, so buy whatever it is. Now, at the last final day, some got a hint that each and every step of that is what you people do in terms of communicating, in terms of how to pass knowledge, information, using the various media platforms you have. The group that won highest, they got actually a trophy, a gift, was the group that said they are going to cook something that is good to the heart. their vision is nobody dies with cardiac arrest. Are you seeing it now?
Yes.
So if already you know nobody dies with cardiac arrest, and you have money to buy and prepare food, now can you point what that group will buy? They didn't buy salt. They didn't buy ordinary oil. They had some olive oil. They didn't buy margarine. They did no shawarma. You get the point? But there was a group that did superb. That fisherman soup group, I enjoyed the fisherman soup, but it didn't have a vision. The Edika Econ group didn't do well because yes, the vegetable was overcooked. Everything inside was overcooked and wasted. Meanwhile, it tasted fine. Are we seeing it now? So you take the entire nutrition preparation for the woman, what she needs to eat when she's pregnant. The longest period might be probably 10-15 minutes. If she's cooking that food more than that time, she's wasting the food. How many husbands know she needs just that little amount of money and provide? In Kaduna, we did egg promotion. All we wanted is for the father to buy one egg for his child, just one egg. First 6 months, no improvement. Went around in Igabi, Zaria, and some places, we mapped the Indomie joints, the Mishai. We found that the minimum quantity of egg that a typical man would eat at the Indomie joints was 2 eggs. I mean, some were even breaking 5 eggs alone.
That's about nutrition.
You see, meanwhile, we want him to give just one to the child. To begin with, he doesn't even need it. His body doesn't need the egg. So these are the kind of discussions that addresses nutrition. You see, I'm not talking about data, am I? No, I'm talking about why we couldn't let things remain the way they are, because we're talking cosmetic in the media. Media should address the issue rather than be talking about cosmetic. Leave that cosmetic to planners. All this NHS, is for the people who do budget. Government, they will do budget. They need to know how many will I budget, which percentage, only 16%. Okay, I need to increase it, so I add this money. But for the media, are we a national SBC strategy goes to address that and ask the question, how do we address these various areas? You have seen these figures several times. This was some areas that had showing of stunting. Somebody mentioned stunting. What is stunting? Yes, but Haja.
Not growing as you should.
Not growing as should.
Yes.
Oh, I don't understand.
As child will not to be. Yes. Maybe as it's growing, it will not, let's say a child of 4 or 5 days will not show. It's either he's very short, the body not looking fine, and finally you see him not, equal to his own mate.
Okay, that's fine. Who else is there? Not growing the way you should. Not growing the way you should. Yes?
Yes, I want to look at it from the perspective. It doesn't necessarily have to do with stature. Sometimes it has to do with mental development, brain development.
Brain development.
When the brain is not developing the way it has to. And that's why we have to consider that situation. Even when they have big body, you can see that thinking capacity
Very low.
Okay.
Off your mind.
No, loudly.
Growth has to do with physical.
I don't think it's also both physical and the mental capability of the child.
Okay. The challenge here is that
That's why it's
hello. The challenge here is two. If you go to the southern Sudan, the shortest person there is 5 feet 7. Yes. I mean, and then next level to them, which is DRC, it has the big population that are sleeping or profit. So are they stunted?
No.
So last year during one breastfeeding week, I had a program with ASO Radio. So and then I asked the presenters and others. So you know it's on top of the rock. So we managed to come down and then we strolled along the express. I said I want them to identify people that are really the same were stunted. Because if we have to pick them by physical outlook, they are too short compared to their age mate. Whose age mate? How do you tell?
There is height for age. Yes.
How do you tell? How do you tell you as a journalist?
After my research, I showed because I did something on nutrition. Like you were saying, you were talking about pregnancy. When you get pregnant and your weight is going down, you should know that there is a problem there. If you are pregnant, your weight is supposed to increase. Then if your weight does not increase, you should know there is a problem.
Increase in what?
With some percentage. Let's say maybe I'm weight up. Let me use myself as an example. Ordinarily, I weigh 85, but when I was pregnant, I was weighing 95. And I'm not a medical personnel, but my doctor told me it was okay. There's weight for age.
Okay.
That is the truth.
Thank you so much. Look, what you're saying is correct. What am I trying to avoid is not the business of the media to say the person is stunned.